and it was nice and overcast, so the lighting was decent. You didn't have to fight with it.
Nice. Well, I took 1,300 photos on Sunday of soccer alone, so I still got my share of photos. And
Wow.
burst mode will do that to you during a soccer game.
Are they all of soccer players, Ian?
Yeah, it was all of my daughters. She played 2 games on Sunday, so I
Plan
was
on plan on culling that down a wee bit, or are you just gonna put 'em-
well because they're burst mode images. I mean, so
Oh,
like
okay.
I maybe shot half of that on Saturday, and I still came away with like 40 some images. So probably have like 50 to 80 images when it's all said and done. But I take pictures of the whole team, so that way everyone gets photos. So
Okay, good.
Well, Jeff, it's 7 o'clock. Should we start?
Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I can't begin to believe that this is the last Zoom meeting for our season. Next month will be at Rotary Park, so that should be fun. I believe the date on that is the second Tuesday, which would be the 9th, July 9th. Almost said June 9th, and it's like, wait, that's too that'd be nice to be that way. But anyways, I guess we have show and tell tonight. We got Ian and we also have Ken. But before we start that, Jeff, is there any announcements you have to make on any WACO or PSA news?
Let me think. Well, Digital Forum this month, we're going to be talking about Lightroom and Photoshop new features. Plus maybe a few more new things. I'm just playing with the new NIC 7. NIC filter is number 7, so we might have something with that. Then we have Marie and Joe Riccosi talking about postcard photography. And I have just got it set. Let's see if I can find them. Since we got plenty of time tonight. And I probably can't even pronounce the guy's last name. Phil Itea. Going to be creating colorful abstract works of art from a single photograph. He does some interesting things using Photoshop and other programs to create some fancy abstract artwork. So I got him coming in August. God, it's hard to believe we'll be into August then. And starting to work on September next. So yeah, other than that, nothing else going on with WACO at this time. Unfortunately, we were going to do a sunflower farm photo workshop, but they aren't opening this year. So we're looking to see if we can find another sunflower farm that will give us as good of photos. But
was that the one that we've been going? Was that the one we've been going through for the last several years?
Yeah, Shyman's over on CC.
Okay.
They put a big thing on Facebook the other day that they won't be opening up this year.
Okay.
I think it's an awful lot of work to do, so probably doesn't generate enough money, or it's too hard to do for them. So
Jeff, have you ever been to Lannon Sunflower Farm here in Menomonee Falls?
I drive by it all the time, but I'm gonna check it out as it gets closer.
I've gone there. That's why I asked.
Yeah, and is it worth doing? It's sort of to me, it's a pretty small one compared to Shyman's, but
so I don't know Shyman, so I can't compare it. I mean, it just depends what you're looking for. They have a lot, a decent amount of them that you can walk in there and all you see is sunflowers. It reminds me of a corn maze, and then they do have like a spot off to the side where I remember it's been a couple years since I went, but They had like I don't know if wildflower is the right term, but flowers, zinnias. I distinctly remember them having, and some other flowers in a separate section next to the sunflowers. So I mean, and you can obviously get right up close to them. They let you pick them and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Shyman's was like 10 or 12 acres worth or more. Might have been even more than that, with about 15 different varieties. But yeah, I always, when I've driven by it, I believe, if it's the one I'm thinking of. But what is that, off a Town Line Road?
yeah, Town Line. I think it is off of Town Line
Yeah,
Road.
Town Line Road. Then it's the one I'm thinking of. I just never thought that it was that big, but yeah.
I mean,
we're
are you going to
gonna
get that? Are you going to get that rolling hill into the
Yeah.
infinity sunflower shop? Probably not, because there's trees in the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's certainly images you can take. You can get sunflowers. I don't know if they have 15 varieties of it, like what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Well,
But if
it's
something.
yeah, we'll take a look at it to see, because
How long does their season last, Ian?
I think they went pretty far into it last year. I don't have a date off the top of my head, but I remember thinking sunflowers were done, and they were still like posting on Facebook, like, we still have sunflowers, come on out, last weekend's gonna be whenever. And I was like, oh, I thought sunflowers were done. So
Okay, well, that's good to know because I heard that because they have so many that they let people cut, that they actually run short a little bit towards the end of the season.
Yeah, clear cut sunflower seeds.
I think they probably do like sections is how I think it operates.
Okay,
Like they'll just open up a different section as they go along.
Jeff.
Like I said, I've only been
is-
there maybe twice. So
Okay, Jeff I pronounce it Shimon. Are they related to the Shimon Funeral Home at all? Do you
Yeah.
know?
yes, they are.
Because-
In fact,
Because I think their father died at the end of February or March, so maybe they were, I think he had been slightly retired, but the boys had taken over, I think, the funeral home itself and things like that. So that's possibly they got behind schedule, or maybe any number of other reasons. So it seems like that might be a possibility also. So,
yeah,
but they are
Yeah.
related to them. Okay, good to
yeah,
know.
Amy,
Thanks.
Amy called me up after I left her a message. And that's what she told me, was that her father-in-law passed away and that her son had more responsibilities. He did all the planting and plowing for the sunflowers.
yeah, and that's a
Okay,
lot of work.
that makes sense then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Maybe next year, maybe once he gets everything settled down, he might get back to it. But he may find then that
Okay.
he's just too busy.
Ken, to answer your question, I looked up Land and Sunflower on Facebook because that's usually where I find out of them. And they had posted September 19th that their pumpkins were starting, and they still had beautiful sunflowers, including new blooms through September into early October. And then their more recent post says they'll open in July 2024.
That's very good, Ian.
And they do have some photos on their Facebook, Land and Sunflower Farm, if you want to just like get an idea of what theirs looks like.
Yeah, we'll have to get together with them and see if we can get, with the other one, we were able to get in before they opened, which was good for our group.
So what's kind of nice is if we can't make it this year, we can do it next year, and maybe we can come up with some other ideas to, other photographic opportunities.
Yeah, and this would have been to a wacko thing, but we just we're working on other stuff. So wacko may be going to Chicago Botanical Gardens as well in August, depending
think
on
Ian would
whether
like
we
that.
can figure it out. So,
I'm sure I'll be there.
yeah, I don't
One
think
way or
Ian needs
another.
to worry about Wacko coming down there.
If you need a
I
tour
go- I
guide, I
plan to
could
go
give you a
down
tour.
Yeah,
I was just
you
down
know it better
there.
than I do.
I was just down there on the 27th, May 27th.
Hey,
Uh,
did they put a plaque on your name already over there?
No, that'd be Anne.
Oh.
Anne lives there, so
Okay. So we had a field trip for the zoo outing. How many people went to that and how many people enjoyed that? Okay. Sounds like there was some rain in that.
There were 6 of us total, really, but we did enjoy it. We got quite wet, and it was still a lot of fun. So nice luncheon after. So
With it raining in that, it sounded like the animals were more active.
it started out not raining, just barely raining when we got there. Maybe a couple of drops or something. It kind of picked up as the day went on.
Was it pretty not a lot of visitors there, or did you guys have basically the whole place to yourself?
We had a lot of room to walk and stand, so it was very nice. Like they said, the light was good and just wet, but you don't often see animals in the rain, so it's a little different.
Okay, cool, very cool. So I guess we're going to have a new president that's going to be coming in, Linnea. And right now we are currently looking for a vice president. So whoever would like to be vice president for next season.
oh, look at those hands could disappear.
Pretty soon everyone's going to turn off their videos. Like, I'm out of here. See you later. Well, you know what? If no one's going to volunteer, Jeff's going to call you at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's usually when I end up calling. I got behind this month. I planned to call people this month, but I had a few problems going on and couldn't get to it. I will work on doing that, and maybe you guys can vote on it at the party, or we'll have to figure out some way to do a ballot type thing once I find somebody. But otherwise, we could vote for all the other offices, Clint.
Okay, sure.
Which would be, I would stay on as secretary and that.
So vote for Jeff. Raise your hand.
Yeah, like we're going to get anybody to volunteer unless somebody wants to volunteer. And Pat said he would stay on as treasurer. So if we can vote for him.
Raise your hand.
And of course, unless somebody would like to do it. And Ellen has graciously volunteered to keep going with the newsletter.
Cool.
So.
Well, thank you everyone for all your help in that. It is a ton of fun being vice president and even being president. So I'm really excited for Linnea when she becomes president, see where we're gonna go. It should be quite interesting and it should be quite fun. So can't wait for that.
Yeah, and if anybody is interested that's in the group now, let us know. It's not a hard job. Most of it's taken care of in August, and right, Linnea, it's not too hard being vice president.
No, I ordered pizzas and everybody was fed at Christmas. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Great.
And Clint, honestly, if you wanted another term, I would be more than happy to be vice president again. Just throwing that out there.
Hey, it don't matter, maybe I'll be vice president again. So, but no, I want, I have no problem, but you know what? I want other people to, participate if you're wanting to. Like I said, it is a ton of fun. It is exciting. And, I don't know, it's a ton of fun. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Clinton, you've done a nice job. Really
You've done an
appreciate you
excellent
stepping
job.
up. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. So, but
No,
thank you.
you did good. You have lots of good ideas. You kept everything. I hardly had to do anything this year, which is really nice.
Well, what I tried to do is, with the president's challenges, I tried to be very creative, and not always the same topic. I tried to have, a wide variety, from shooting with your cell phones and stuff like that. And what's great is with the people that submitted pictures and for the newsletters, very impressive with everyone. And it's talking about something like that. About 2 weeks ago, I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning checking our Menomonee Falls Camera Club website. There are some very talented people in our group. Seeing their portfolio with their pictures in their albums. Some of us have our own websites. So it was a ton of fun looking at the quality work that the people put out. So thank you, everyone. And thank you guys. Everyone should get a clap too, because you guys did an awesome job. So thank you. So,
Great.
Go ahead, Jeff. What were you going to say?
Yeah, while you were talking about the website, I just wanted to say that we did get photos from the zoo outing that are now posted on the website, along with photos from Shady Lane. Plus, you'll also notice at the bottom of the website, we've now added a weather app that will tell you the weather in Menomonee Falls, or at least when we're doing stuff in the falls, you'll know what the weather's like. So check the website out and check the footer down there. You'll see a nice little weather app that I found. So,
well, not only just a website, Ellen did a fantastic job. I mean, for the last several years, class A type quality newsletter. So, I mean, it's really a great information, great layout. It's fantastic. So thank you for doing that too, Linnea and Ellen and everyone else for contributing. So thank you. Well, I guess right now we can do probably show and tell. Or is there something else that you want to do first? Do you want to do the door and gates?
No, why don't I show one of the things that we participated in. It was the PSA Club Showcase.
Okay.
And I think I passed it on to Ellen and a couple of us, but let me see where it went. Come on, I know you're here somewhere.
That was too late for the newsletter, but.
Right, that's what I figured. So
yeah.
I've got a little PowerPoint. Once I can figure out where the PowerPoint went that I put up. All right, guys. I thought it should have just. All right. It's maybe on the same page. So let's go here. And
one last comment on being a vice president. Anyone that has been vice president and president, not trying to speak for them, I'm willing to help out anyone that I can help. So if you guys need if there's any problems or any questions in that, feel free to contact me, call me, email me, and I'm more than willing to try and help you guys out too.
okay, let's see if I can make this work now. We'll just do it this way. Okay, so for some reason it's not at the beginning, but so each year PSA Wisconsin chapter conducts the PSA showcase, and there are quite a few clubs. They're all based in Wisconsin. 7 different members submit images, so there's 7 different images. We all judged it. So all participating PSA member clubs are sent, all the images are sent to the different clubs. So they all get judged by I believe it's 13 different clubs. I think we did it, in January. And you can see they show some of the winners of the individual images that won. The score sheets from each are sent back to the supervisor, who's Bonnie Zadima. And she tabulates it all, and then we get told the winning clubs. So the 13 clubs total. A couple of them you won't recognize. Beaver Creek isn't part of WACO. All the rest are WACO clubs as well. The top 25 scoring individual images and the 7 images of the third, second, and first place clubs are presented in this program. So you're getting to see the top 25 images. Third place club was Weir Nature Center. They had quite a few good images. Jerry Lane with Maximilian. Summer 2022 by Don Schmidt. Old Still Kittens, Sheila Hall. Skyline Art, Tom Cant. Aurora, Vinay Sinha. And 3 at the end of the day, Mary Kranick. And Wild Mustangs, Elizabeth Whitcomb. The second place club was Beaver Creek Photo Club. And What Did the Pioneers Think by Steve Johnson. Close Encounter by Martha Hidalgo. Humpback Bubble Feeding, Jim Backus. On Target, Efren Zoldo. And Caught Wet-Handed, Eric Hubner. And Driftwood Beach Sunrise by Rick Kozel. Shovel Reflection by Ryan Zimmerman. But we're the first place club. So we did really well. Out of 13 clubs, we took first place. Here are the images that we had. My motorcycle. Jane's dueling butterflies. Jesse's fiery skipper. Ken's spoonbill. Roger's sunny and windy day. And Sunnyside by Ian. And Jeff Ewig, Alone on the Sand. So these are the top individual awards. What's sort of interesting, we didn't win any of the top 5 awards, but we took first place overall. So I'm not sure how that ends up working. But Signa Emmerich with her Sharp-Shinned Hawk. Bat by D.D. Warner. Aurora by Vinay Sinha. Maximilian by Jerry Lane. Close Encounter by Martha Hidalgo. So we'd like to thank Bonnie. She does a great job on, getting all this stuff put together. She's getting hundreds of score sheets. So she did a really nice job, and Jerry Emmerich put this show together. So just wanted to show that.
Thank you, Jeff, for showing that to us. And congratulations, everyone. You guys did an awesome job on your photography. Great job.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone.
So sort of surprised when I got the results, and it was nice to see that we're number 1.
Well, in one aspect, it's not surprising because like I said, there are some phenomenal photographers in our group, and we have
Yep.
all sorts of ranges of, from sports to landscape, nature to wildlife. Basically, we almost cover every single aspect of photography. So I think that says a lot and speaks volume to our Menomonee Falls Camera Club. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Jeff, is there any other announcements?
Nope. That's it for me. I think, yeah, you could probably, go into whatever you'd
Show and
like,
tell.
show and tell.
Yeah, either Ken or Ian, which one would like to go first?
I'm okay.
Doesn't matter to me, Ken.
All
Should we
right.
flip a quarter?
Before I get started, I just want to do my verbiage before I start showing the photos, because I've got a slideshow. Anyways, as some people may know, I started photography back around 2000. I went to a UW Waukesha program for fall colors up in Michigan, led by Bob Scott. I enjoyed it so much, I repeated it for several years. The photos that I have are going to be one subject there. It's going to be Bond Falls, a lot of Bond Falls pictures, which is one of my favorite waterfalls. For probably 5 or 6 years that I went to Bond Falls, I didn't see any color in the water at all. Then in 2007, I had fantastic color, and I think I was able to repeat that for the next 4 years. Every time that I photograph Bond Falls, Jeff reminds me that it's not a natural waterfall, that it's man-made, but it looks good enough for me. And I usually find ways to get to Bond Falls. If we go to the Porkies, I go to Bond Falls. If we go to Minnesota North Shore, I go to Bond Falls. One year I went to the ice caves, and we went to Bond Falls. So anyways, it's one of my favorite places. I put on my photos, I put the date that the photo was taken, and I put the shutter speed and the f-stop. And basically what I do is I take multiple photos with different shutter speeds. And what I do is I usually select the f-stop, and then I raise it or lower it depending on what shutter speed I want to get. And then what I do is I go through the pictures and pick out the ones I like. So I'm going to share the screen and run the slideshow.
Don't
Oh,
forget
I've
to
gotta
check
click
the
something,
music
Jeff,
box.
right, for-
Ken.
Jeff, was there something I was supposed to click for the music or not?
Yeah, you should check the box for music. So
Let
you
me
might
stop
want to start
sharing
over.
here. I didn't see it.
They rearranged it.
Oh, here we go, share sound. Okay, I
Yeah.
got it.
Yep, coming through good.
of pictures of Bond Falls.
Very cool. Nice.
Very good. Even though some of it's fake.
The question is, how do you know it's fake? It's getting so good that you don't know if it's fake or not, or if it's fake or real.
The lower part's all real. It's just the part that everybody loves to photograph, and that's why I like the kid Ken, but he's got some great color shots. So the Z part is actually concrete that formed the Z's in Bond Falls, but it's still probably one of the neatest places to photograph a waterfall because you get so many opportunities to photograph different places there. So it's worth going to.
I like
As you
the
can tell by
abstract
Ken.
ones. I like those abstract ones,
Yeah.
you know, just of the water and the color.
Yeah. There's parts of it where there's waves that you can capture with the reflections.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Ian, you all ready for your presentation?
Yep. Black and white building right now? Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. So speaking of concrete, not a waterfall, but still kind of a waterfall. I haven't done one of these in almost 2 years. Historically, I always did the one in September, and I didn't do last September, so it's been a while. So I went back and collected a whole bunch of images just from the last 2 years, basically, and different styles, different topics that I shoot. So I'll just kind of walk you through them. This one actually was taken with Ken. Ken and I did a photo walk of Black Cat Alley, and we ended up over here by the end of the night because it's only about a block away from Black Cat Alley. So, but that's a hospital here on like North Ave, basically North and Prospect, that area. Go. And then this is I did a urban photo conference in Chicago, and this is one of the buildings with these little like patio area, and this guy was window washing. So I thought he added a bit to it than if I had just shot the building as is. This was from the same conference. I enjoyed this photo because I took this at the the Chicago Art Institute, in a room next to a beautiful staircase. But I hated the light that was on the staircase. Everybody was taking the photo of the staircase. And I looked up and there's a ceiling fan, air vent up there. And I jokingly took a picture and I liked how it looked. And I looked at the guy next to me who was part of the conference and said, I'm going to spend the next 5-10 minutes shooting this air vent. And I ended up with like 6-7 different abstract style images of it. And I even challenged one of the instructors to guess if she knew what this was during the image review. And the only reason she even had any clue was she had literally in the session before us told somebody to clone out the air vent because it was distracting in somebody else's, wider shot and whatnot. So she had just seen it, or else she would have had no idea. So just an example that you can, very basic things. You get some interesting light, you get some cool tones, whatnot. Same conference. It was also a street conference. So in the last year-ish, I've been trying to take more street photos. Historically, I've always waited for people to get out of my images. And this was at the Crown Fountain in Chicago. This kid had just walked into, it's this reflecting pool thing that you can walk into. He had walked out there and just kind of looked down, and I got this shot, and then, fleeting moment of him just looking down at the water and everything. I thought it was pretty cool. This is here in Milwaukee. They did this cool exhibit over by the St. Kate Hotel that had these big inflatable balloon things And so that's what's behind this lady, and those are the colors. It's not like a filter or anything. That was the balloon thing out of focus. And then she happened to have this like purple pink hair. I thought it matched really well with it. And at the same thing, there's this. They had this Our Lady. They're doing bubbles everywhere. So that's what those circles are in front of her. Those are bubbles that are just flying through the air, and happened to catch one that framed her eyes. She was walking around. And then I went to the what's this called? Renaissance Fair in Kenosha for the first time ever. I'd grown up in Illinois, not all that far from there, and then here I lived in Milwaukee. I never been to Renaissance Fair. Went over the summer. Took this lady's picture as she was talking to somebody, and then I posted on Instagram. And like the next day, she found it and was like, "I think that's me," and she really liked it. So it's kind of cool. And of course, just some action shots of the Renaissance Fair. Mooney doing Mooney's things. That's my dad. He was dressed up as a wizard. Circus, acrobats. This lady was like clear across, way far from me. It's amazing what denoise can do these days, and a little bit of sharpening tools to bring out an image that didn't have a ton of pixels to begin with. And then Milwaukee, this was right around the new year. This was shortly after they started to light up the art museum in colors now. It was a very foggy day, so that's why the sky turned purple, because the lights were reflecting off the fog. When I first got there, you couldn't even see the museum from the street. It was so foggy. So I sat out there and I took multiple exposures, blend them together. A lot of you have seen my blue one that I did many, many years ago, like 14 years ago. So I recreated it now with the colors. And then inside the museum, they did have that blue iceberg, the glass. And I went on a Thursday and the place was completely empty. It was gorgeous. So for like an hour and a half, it was just me and a security guard hanging out in the atrium. You had to listen to my camera going off over and over because there was no noise going on in that room. Nobody was there. But it was awesome because I got to take shots like this and not have to wait for people to be out of the way. And because it was at night, the windows were dark. So then we had the crazy frost with all the fog that was going down, or the steam coming off the lake. So this was the lighthouse, and then I went over by the Hone Bridge. This is actually at the boat dock that gives you a nice straight on shot of the Hone Bridge. Usually people shoot the lights there when it's lit up at night, but I had my telephoto out that compressed the lighthouse, the two lighthouses together, and created this image amongst the steam coming off the lake. And I got the opportunity to do a photo walk with Chicago photo classes, I believe is what they're called. Somebody reached out to me and wanted to do a photo walk in Milwaukee, and I knew the owner from other conferences, so he told her to reach out to me. I helped her lead the walk and everything, and these were some of our instructees or attendees. We got there early before the museum opened, so they were all shooting the wings as they opened up. And this was a photo I took on the walk. I took a weird angle here. It kind of reminds me of a piano or keys or something like that. And then City Hall, there's a walkway that goes over Water Street that you can shoot through the skywalk and get this shot from a nice elevated perspective as opposed to street view. And then real quick, we'll go through some flower stuff. Not this past March, but the March before that, I did a conference in Phoenix. So I got to do some desert stuff. Oops, there we go. So the agave plants, these fuzzy things, I couldn't tell you what they are, but they just looked cool next to each other. And then this kind of looks like hands clasped together, like a fist of some sort. And of course, dandelions. now we're back home. I love shooting dandelions. If you see somebody taking photos in a ditch, it might be me taking pictures of dandelions before they get mowed. I also shot a lot of clover. You get close to clover, they make these kind of little hearts in them, upside down hearts. And then more recently, I got some opportunities to shoot at a few locations. This is Happy Day Farmhouse in Germantown. They do Tulip Fest in the spring, and I reached out to them and asked if I could shoot their tulips before they harvested them. So they let me come out the weekend before Tulip Fest. And I took a whole bunch of pictures in the morning. It just rained. It was overcast. It was wonderful. They liked my images so much that they actually added an event that Friday before their Tulip Fest, just so people could come out and take pictures of their flowers. So this was one of my favorites. You actually, if you look close at the water droplets, you can see reflections of upside down tulips that are being refracted through the water droplets themselves. And then this one has just tons of water droplets all over it. It was really cool. It literally stopped raining like 5 minutes before I got there. A Rhinoculus, I don't do a ton of like crazy edits to my photos, I don't think, but this one I decided to put blue on one side and I warmed up a side that was already warm to begin with. It kind of gives this dueling warm cold look to what normally is just a white flower. And then just a few more left here. This is from Shady Lane. I'm sure those who came to Shady Lane recognize this daisy. It was a pretty unique one. Most of them, the daisies are flush straight on out, but this one looked kind of all droopy and everything. When I go out and shoot flowers, while I do like the perfectly beautiful standard ones that you see, it's always the interesting characters that usually make the most interesting photos. And then recently I've been photographing at a friend's house who has peonies. So she let me come over to her house a few times. I've been there 3 times already this spring. And this was one of her peonies before it opened. Up close of the petals. This was also of her garden. This is like a more dramatic shot of this little guy. Again, no filters used or anything. That's just the drop off of a 2.8 f-stop on a very small little plant. Zinnias, I don't have any new zinnias, so this is from last year. I just shot zinnias, or clematis, sorry, not zinnias, clematis. May 27th, I mentioned I was at the Botanic Garden. So looking forward to editing those, but haven't yet. So this is from last year. And then Lotus, Chicago Botanic Garden. If you want to shoot Lotus, come end of August. So, yeah, end of August is probably the best time to shoot the Lotus. That's when they're in bloom. Water lilies, same time of year. This one I captured the bee. Bee obviously makes it a little different than a standard water lily. And then the last 3 here, I most recently finally I got in touch with somebody who sells cut flowers here in Menomonee Falls. Her business is called The Cozy Acres. She makes gorgeous bouquets of flowers. And I was able to come out and shoot her ranunculus. And what's cool is she covers them during storms and everything. So like I realized as I was editing these photos, I didn't have to remove any, like practically any dirt spots because her flowers are beautiful. She keeps them clean because she obviously wants to cut them and sell them. So I took this one, I took this one, took this one, and I took obviously a whole bunch more. I'll be posting those. Those are what I'm posting on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, probably the next 2 weeks or so are all from her garden. And I'm looking forward to getting in there. She's going to keep me posted. She's already told me she's got like some iris there right now. I just haven't had a chance to go there. But I'm super excited because she also does dahlias and other things. So, and then lastly, I always finish with my daughter. This is from that rainy game on Saturday where we were completely soaked. But she got out there. She played 3 games in the rain. She scored in one of them. She played great. She played 2 more games the next day. Lots of fun. So that is my show and tell.
Very cool. Very cool. Really neat.
Wow.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So we
I
technically,
have a question for Ian, if I may.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Down at Chicago Botanical Gardens, to get up close, what lens were you using? Down in Chicago?
So I would say every single flower photo I showed you there is, with the exception of the water lily and maybe the lotus, those two. Everything else is taken with my 90mm macro f2.8. I on a full frame camera. That's
Yeah.
pretty much my bread and butter. I do have a telephoto for the water lilies because they're usually just too far away unless there just happens to be one up close to the edge.
Yeah, when we were down there, I found it difficult to get that close to some of those. So
To the water lilies or
yeah,
yeah, the water. So the water lilies I shoot with a 70 to 350 on a crop sensor. So that's 105 to like 525
Okay, sure.
for a full frame if you're shooting on full frame.
Okay.
Because yeah, those I'm like fully zoomed in.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Thank you. Nice shots.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool shots. So, well, we do have technically 3 more months of the President Photo Challenge. This month is June is abandoned. So anything that's abandoned, you know, houses, cars, you name it, have that. July is anything over $1 million. And then August is choose your favorite pictures. So I'm going to, when we come back in the fall, in September, I'll do a show and tell with all these 3 months challenges. So please keep submitting the pictures and that. I'm looking forward for it. That should be a lot of fun. And then I guess I can probably do my slideshow, right, Jeff?
Sure.
Okay, so give me one quick minute. Share screen. Do share sound. And then here we go. And then share. Okay. Let's try this. Slideshow.
Yep, it's working.
All right, well, I guess that's it for the slideshow. Thank you everyone for participating. Really cool pictures in that. So I guess Jane, if I remember right, she has a slideshow, I think, for the doors and gates.
Yes, I do. And of course, we need to consider topics for next year. I think we usually finalize that in September. The doors and gates were hard for people. I queried some people who usually participate, and they told me, I don't have anything. I don't take that kind of photo. So when we consider topics for our next year-end slideshow, I think we should make it pretty darn broad.
Well, Jane, what I like about, that most people don't shoot, kind of, I don't want to say force the people, but try to get them to do something different, that's not, let's say if someone, just takes nothing but pictures of flowers, not, making fun of anyone, it's like, well, try something different. So, I mean, there's beautiful houses with beautiful gates, it's like, I think that would be cool, think of museums. Some of them have some beautiful gates and doors.
You're right. You're right. And personally, I think some people did have them. They just maybe can't locate them in their catalog because they haven't identified them as a gate or a door. And they're just part of a nice landscape. It's just my thought, we pick a topic and people should consider working on it during the course of the year. And that's just my 2 cents.
Should we throw out some ideas right now real quick? Or should we wait? Okay, don't speak all at the same time, people. Or should we give you a month to think about it and we can discuss it at the park?
Well, let's do the slideshow that Jane's put together, please.
Okay.
I'd like to see that.
Jeff, I have one question for you. I've got a lot of frogs chirping in my background. Can I leave my mic off and still have the music play?
Yeah, it should play. Just make sure you check the box for share music.
Okay.
Before you share the screen.
I mean, after you share the screen, you check the music.
You hit the first share screen right now to get the window, and then in that window that pops up, there's a share screen checkbox.
Okay. Share sound.
Yeah.
Optimize for video clip.
Yep. Click
Okay.
that too. Sounds good.
Very nice, Jane. I thought those were very nice, beautiful pictures in that. And you mentioned that you had a hard time, getting people to submit. I thought there was quite a few pictures in there.
Yeah. Maybe 14. And we probably had like maybe 25 for the favorites in January.
Oh, I thought that was pretty nice. So thank you.
Jane, I just want to add, I did some traveling with my kids this year, probably about 3 different trips, and they're all adults. They have called this the year of the door. So anytime we were in Belize, we were in New Orleans, it's like they're all like looking for the door. And then deadline was this past weekend. I didn't have any of my photos with me, but I was in Virginia, so that's where mine came from. So I agree with you, it's got to be something popular, but it is kind of fun to have a target that you don't normally shoot. But 2024 is going to be the year of the door in my photo archives forever. So fun.
Cool.
It caused people to stretch a bit, and I like that. It's, sometimes we do things that clouds, waterfalls, but I like this. And I think agreeing with other people, the number of shots that was submitted, a lot of good shots. And I thought it was very entertaining. Well done to the whole club, huh?
And I'll just throw out there, I was one who didn't have any door or gate photos. That's why you didn't see my photos out there. I have no problem with the topic being door and gates. I just didn't have a chance to take door and gate photos this year. I didn't make it a priority. Along the way, I didn't really take any. I know I have door and gate photos in my archives, and I just honestly, I wasn't up for digging through my archives to go find them. I didn't want to reshare photos I may have shared in the past. So
I did have some also, Ian, but nothing recently. So I mean that made a difference too. But Linnea, it sounds as if you have a show and tell pretty much ready to go with doors and gates that you can put together for next year.
Only if we need one, Ellen. It's all there somewhere.
Yeah, I
Thanks for
know
the idea.
feeling.
Yeah, last month I went to south of France, and I took a number of pictures. I didn't realize that this challenge was doors and gates, but it just happens to be that I took pictures of doors and gates, and I submitted them. So I didn't have that in the back of my mind.
What's cool is some of the stuff we take pictures of is kind of sometimes by accident. So I think that's kind of neat.
Thanks to Jane for putting that together.
Yeah, she did
Absolutely.
a great job. Well, I think everyone has done a great job on putting stuff together. Jeff, is there anything else that you want to talk about? I know we still have about 50 minutes left.
Well, we could try to come up with some topics that we should work on for next year's club programs and that.
Well, let's
We're
take
always
a poll.
looking for ideas for speakers for the club.
Let's take a poll and see what people are interested in. What do you guys want to learn? What are you guys curious about? What's your interest? What do you want to get better? Flash photography, nighttime photography. What are you guys all interested in? That one guy, Jeff, that you sent me, John Hartman, I checked out his website, and that he'd be a pretty good presentator, I think. For flash. Well, he does flash photography, but basically it's light painting and that. And man, really some incredible pictures he's done.
Yeah, he's a really good photographer for light painting. He might be a little expensive for this group. I'm in the process of checking to see what he might be, even for the digital forum.
Yes.
But yeah, he does does some really nice work.
Hey, Jeff, too, also, I want to personally say thank you too for all your web, doing the website, doing the Zoom meetings and that you've been extremely helpful getting this
No
up and
problem.
going.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Jeff.
No problem. I was gonna see if I can. It's gonna be under there.
So is there any people that are interested in trying to get better on? Is there something that you guys think that you're kind of lacking in that you'd like to try to get better in your photography wise?
I'd say like night photography, like stars, that kind of always get movement.
Okay.
I've been going through a lot of my old non-digital photographs, and most of them aren't worth the saving, but there are a few that are there. But I'm also interested in how to restore some of the photographs that I have, especially when I come across photos from great great grandparents, and some of those, the corners are torn, the parts of it may be missing, and I know there's been a lot of changes with AI, and so I'm just sort of, first of all, just going through the programs, whether it's InDesign or Illustrator or Photoshop, is just so overwhelming nowadays, because A, they upgrade, B, they put things in different places. So now it's, finding things, but I want my life to be a little more streamlined, and I want to be able to dump a lot of photos, but save the ones that I want and not have to have them stuck in a box somewhere where eventually my kids are going to say, what's this crap, and then just toss it. So there's a lot of different probably processes in there, so take your pick.
Photo restoration and whatnot.
Yeah. And how to even I don't want to say scan, but what's the best way to take a non-digital photo and digitize it? Just take a picture of
It's
it.
scan is actually the right term, I think, there. It's still, you scan the image in.
Okay, so still use the scan. Okay, which I have,
I mean,
but
you can use your phone. The only challenge with using a phone is the lighting. You obviously don't want to
it
get
very much so. Yeah.
glare
Okay.
on there and stuff like that versus like years ago. It's now been a while, admittedly, but my in-laws have tons of slides, and my wife and
Oh,
I scanned hundreds, if not thousand slides,
oh,
and saved them all. So we have digital copies now of all of those.
how
Yeah.
did you do the scans of a slide?
We bought a flatbed scanner, typical
Right. And
scanner, and
they have the
it had a
scanner.
it had a
Yeah, got one
bracket
of
that
those.
you just put the slides in the bracket just to hold them, just to keep them straight. But I mean, really, it just did a scan of the slide. That's all it did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I think somewhere in my pile of crap, I have that too.
yeah. I actually took photos of my slides. I had 6,500 slides that I copied using my camera and a macro lens and a holder for the slide, and just put it basically on a white LED light, and I could photograph it. And I got 45 megapixel scans basically of every slide. I didn't keep all of them. I think I threw away 2,000, 3,000, but I have something like 3,000 or 4,000 slides scanned now.
So
And I
do you
did
just
that
have
over.
those? Did you have those backlit like through like
Yeah,
a light
they're
panel
just
or
back.
something underneath them?
Yeah, I just had a white panel, LED panel that backlit it, and just photograph it. And that way, the holder that I had, I just had to drop the slide in, snap a shot, take it out, drop the next one, and you can really go through them pretty quick that way.
If you want, to make your life a lot easier, Scan Cafe has a great reputation. I sent hundreds of slides to them, and they did a great job doing mine. And they have.
Yeah, I just couldn't afford 6,500 of them to Scan Cafe.
No, but I had I had several hundred, and you can group them together with rubber bands and name your subject, and they will keep them together in files for you and name them.
It's called Scan Cafe.
Yes.
No.
And they often have sales where they'll be, say, 40% off or 35% off.
Yeah.
As somebody who ships out all my printing jobs, I can definitely relate to. Sometimes it's just easier to have somebody else do it, right?
Yeah.
As long as you can afford it, you know.
Yeah. I've got movies I got to do next, and I must have about 7-8 hours worth of movies, and that stuff is really expensive to get converted over. And I'm not going to do it myself. I used to, but that's too much work. But
Ellen, you raised a question about what do you do with all these old pictures you have? What I've started doing is I have everything in Lightroom, and I've just gone through each one of the folders on a random basis, and then create a quick collection of maybe, my top 100 out of 1,000, and then show those 100 to my kids, whether or not they want those down the road. And if they do, I'm happy. Then I can get rid of everything else that is occupying space. And it works pretty good.
Yeah.
Some spring cleaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's amazing how non-digital and digital images really just pile up.
One thing is bring up about a topic is I know for during the Christmas party, I tried to talk to everyone, try to visit everyone at every table, and that there might have been a table or two that I missed. I just didn't have time to do. But the topic kept coming up in that it sounds like we wanted to do more in person. We were talking about, like your pictures, stuff like that, how we can do this. I'm wondering is if we can do, let's say, like a workshop, like a hands-on activity. Maybe we can get together, do something fun, and then maybe more like in winter time, towards the end of fall, maybe do the Zoom meeting more when people don't want to go out in the cold weather and the snow. I just wanted to see what people's opinions were on that and see what Jeff thinks about that idea too.
Well, I'll listen to everybody else first, and then I'll have a suggestion.
I would be totally interested in like doing little workshops on different topics. So there's different techniques I would like to try, but I never get around to it because I don't know what I'm doing, or I need somebody to push me a little bit. And I've been toying with the idea of learning how to do ICM, intentional camera movement, because I like a lot of the images I see that are abstract. So, that's something that I would like to explore more.
Well, and to Patty's comments, I don't like driving at night because it gets harder and harder to see. But if I have a specific place I can go during the quote non-winter months, I'm much more apt to do that and go to a workshop that I know would be at a place that has the parking, has the space, has whatever, where we used to meet at the
The rec
community,
department.
was at the community, the rec department. Just even to because then I know where I'm going and it's harder for me to kind of get lost. And if I do get lost, then I really do have a problem. But nonetheless, it's harder for me to drive to different places to do photo shoots just because I'm not comfortable and I'm of an age now where it's, you know, driving Miss Daisy is comes to mind. That's about, you know, all I can be good.
Well, just in talking about a place, without talking about what we're gonna do there, again, you know, for our Christmas party, we were at Holy Cross and Lutheran up on Pilgrim, just north of Appleton, and they were very welcoming, and they make a point of attempting to be open. I think they're doing a good job of being open to outside community groups, and I would expect that they would welcome us back again in that space. So
It was a nice location.
What's nice in Brian's suggested idea, and what's nice is it was basically centrally, centralized for everyone to come. So it was no different compared to going to the rec department. So it was only a mile down the road. So that was kind of nice. So, and I think Brian for setting up for the Christmas party.
Yeah, and we might, I was thinking the church might be a good spot for us to meet at. It would be easy as long, as long as they're willing to let us do it. We may actually have another spot that I keep thinking about, that Soroso, where possibly Alan and I are gonna have places to be, along with
there, yeah.
yeah, along with Tony Shoeless. They have a nice club area that's nice and big that we could actually hold some of that kind of stuff there too. Actually, I think Ken too would also have a spot that we could meet at possibly once he checks his place out.
Is the clubhouse built yet, or do they have another?
No, they're still
facility
building
in
the
Grayson?
clubhouse, so we have to wait for that clubhouse. That's why I think the church would be a good spot too.
You're right. They've got a meeting room there too.
Yeah, they got a nice meeting room there, so that might work for us.
We'll have.
It all depends what we want to do at the
church
place,
had a lot of room and tables, but it would be a good place to do something like tabletops.
yeah.
And with tabletops, you could also do something like intentional camera movement or something too, other types of workshop items.
So the big
So you
trick
could
is coming
practice
up with
close
what
up.
we'd like to do.
Yeah.
I think we've got enough locations we could find to do it. I mean, the rec department would be happy to have us back too. That's a little more work to reserve and does cost us a few dollars. So I sort of like the church as a better alternative.
It's nice at church, because like I said, it's central. I know I suggested about going to the hangar and that, but that's in West Bend, so a lot of people would have to drive north. What's nice about the one that Brian suggested was we're like kind of right in the middle, so I like that.
they do have a good, they've got the TV screen there. It's good size, and you can hook up a computer to it. There's a communication station off on the side, and so you can hook up and do different things, anyway, it's available as a tool.
And what's nice is we have our own parking lot, so it's really close, well lighted, and it's in a nice area too.
Yeah.
Brian, which church are you talking about?
Holy Cross on Pilgrim and
Gotcha.
it's on Pilgrim, just north of Appleton.
Yep. I know it's like around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Technically
No.
south of Appleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, south. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
South of Appleton. I mean,
South of
it would,
Appleton.
yeah, it
Big
would
thing is to
work
figure
well.
out- Big thing is to figure out what we want to do here.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
big
big
thing.
thing.
I wouldn't want to hold regular meetings there only because bringing in speakers or trying to do something hybrid, even if we do have the big TV set there, that doesn't work well.
No, the speakers I would only suggest is on this platform, Zoom, when everyone's home. But when you're out, out, I call it out on location, rec department or whatever, I wouldn't have a guest speaker unless it might be a local speaker that we can bring in. But I think in general, the Zoom meeting is the best because then the guest speaker can do a better detail. And then some people like, what? I can't hear you in the back of the room.
Yeah. And even with a big screen TV and that's still going to be a problem. So even bringing a speaker in, I'm not that thrilled about that. I've really gotten spoiled with doing this stuff on Zoom for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if we do actual photo shoots or workshops, if we can get enough people to want to come,
I agree with
that's
that.
the other part.
Right.
Jeff,
kind
I
of
have an
like a
idea.
field
I was
trip.
just looking at our website and I'm one of the guilty ones who have not put a member gallery, a photo up there in our bio. And one of the reasons is I'm not good at portrait photography. So one of the things that I was thinking about is if ever we have 15 people up, I see we've got 34 people, 33 in the meeting, like part of an in-person meeting might be even doing headshots. Or teaching us how to do headshots and then maybe doing the ICM that Alan's interested. That would just be one idea. But then the prerequisite, or how would I say, then you have to get your images up on the website.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get more people to do their galleries.
A darn headshot.
And to update
It's
the
keeping me-
ones that are already up there to start thinking about updating them for the next season. So
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yeah,
since
we
I-
can do that if somebody has the lighting for it.
I do.
Okay, because I'm downsizing. I'm going to have some lighting, but I'm not having near the amount of equipment for doing stuff like that that I used to have.
Yeah, I just picked up about a month ago on that. It's my call it tripod, but my light stand goes up to 13.5 feet high. So I figure I can do cars and airplanes and jets and stuff like that. And then I also got a speed light, so all that can be triggered, so I can have off camera. So that would work out really good.
And Clint, I have some too, as well as band lighting in case we want strobes and lasers going behind us. So, we can talk.
Okay, sure. I can help you out if you like.
Have a disco
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, disco party. That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. And fog machines, but that's different topic.
Hey, that could be for Halloween and that, Halloween picture.
Yeah, and if we know what our topic is going to be for a workshop, we could put out a list of suggested videos that are on YouTube or whatever for those that are interested to watch prior to attending the workshop, and then we could just get together and practice what we learn. It doesn't even have to be as formal as having a speaker or paid educator. We can just learn in advance and then practice on each other.
Well, we've got a number of workshops that we do, we do the flowers, do the zoo, and sometimes we just ought to challenge ourselves to try some of these different techniques when we do one of these field trips.
Yeah, that field. Maybe you're right, Brian. The field trip we can make into a workshop too.
Yeah, it's ready made. I mean, you got animals, you got flowers, plants, and
Well, and Ao's right too, in that maybe we could do like corporate shots, which way I could probably do with the lighting and that.
Yeah, it's all a matter of, doing some of that stuff gets tricky because you have to find a place to do it.
Yep.
A church is fine, except, that's not going to work for a corporate shot. But yeah, it depends. We have to come up with a list of what we'd like to do, when we'd like to do it. Is it going to be on a regular meeting night, or is it going to be, some other night on a weekend, something like that.
Yeah, more like maybe more of a midday.
Yeah, depending what you want to shoot, I think we need to keep going with our workshops that we do.
Field trips.
It'd be nice to see more people at them, but I know it's hard for people to get there. And, people need to send us suggestions of workshops they'd like to see us do. With our August planning meeting, we plan most of that stuff out at that meeting. So if you just, send us your ideas, we'll see if we can incorporate it. If you've got speakers, names of speakers, send that to me. And if they're priced under $150 or under, then we can have them. Otherwise, we'll recycle a lot of the speakers that we've had in the past, because a lot of them have, always update their stuff that they'll talk about. Plus, I'm constantly looking for new speakers. So,
Well, you know what? Maybe we could find a speaker within our group to discuss. I know one time I mentioned about maybe aviation that I do, but there's other topics too.
Yeah.
And I know that someone made a comment in the chat, like about sports, well, sports is, kind of, well, Jeff, you're in sports too.
Yeah, I do.
With action.
Do some sports. Yep. And yeah, I can talk about stuff. I'm usually the fallback person when a speaker doesn't show up, because I can pull a lot of that stuff out, and I'm happy to talk about anything that I end up doing. I do quite a bit of stuff, but so we can certainly see.
Well, at least one thing, at least we brought up a topic, to have people think about, not everyone's going to come up with an idea tonight, and then maybe people can sleep on it, or, a week later, like, oh, you know what, this would be a cool idea to do.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of field trips, I've kind of been organizing 3, every spring. Did we do anything in fall last year at all? I can't remember anything that we did in the fall. So
I know.
it'd be nice
Wacko had the birds and prey one.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't club specific, but it was happening in the fall.
Right.
Yeah, this fall Wacko doesn't really have anything going. Unless somebody
must be some other places we can go to shoot. A little bit different, and maybe that would get more people out. Maybe people are just tired of shooting flowers and zoo animals. So I don't
The
know.
same place. Yeah. No, that's an idea. Because I know we did what, last year or 2 years ago, that field trip up to Cedarburg. And it was supposed to be snowing in that. Well, it was raining in that, even though it was January. It was warm enough.
And we've done Cedarburg, we've done Port Washington in the winter too. Yeah.
Well, maybe
we were talking at the zoo about possibly going up to that Shalom Wildlife Center in where is that at, James?
A little bit north of West Bend.
Yeah, West Bend. We thought that might be a potential fall one.
Well,
we've got nothing more scheduled for summer. I mean, it could be just about any time.
maybe some of these places we can contact and see if they would like, I call it almost professional photographers because we do that type of quality work in our group, as if they'd be interested in having us.
Well, we could always charter
Or
a
do a
bus and go to Bond Falls.
That's true too.
Yeah, there we go. I
Yeah.
like that idea, Joe.
And would be
We-
our personal tour guide.
Yeah.
We could go
We
to
could
a
look at the
pumpkin
Crane
farm.
Foundation too. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but they've, from what I hear, they've got new and thinner netting for being able to get better photos at the Crane Foundation. Plus, you got stuff at Baraboo or the Dells even, if you wanted to do a longer field trip for
Well,
the
I was
day.
thinking if Ken go visit Mark down in Florida, he'd stop on the way at Bonds Falls first.
Bond Falls is a good, nice spot, but it's a long ways off.
Yeah. I don't-
Long
Beautiful
way
area.
up north.
Well, you know what?
Ken
Go
Ken
ahead.
could do a trip on, what is it, Highway 41 that goes all the way through Wisconsin, all the way to Florida, or is that 45? One of them does.
41.
41.
There you go.
It's literally right down the road if you think about it.
Yeah.
But maybe we can do even lighthouses or something different, something unique, too.
Yeah, we've done the lighthouse tour once. Probably about time to bring it back, although it is a lot of driving to get them. Although if you just pick a certain section to do it, it could be interesting. Even
There's
going up
the
towards
auto-
Door County, you can do that in a day. Go up and shoot and come back.
There's the auto museum in Hartford that has Kissel cars and older vehicles
True.
that are not hybrids. So, and I think they have quite a collection there, so.
The cars are usually
their
pretty
art-
packed in there, though, like sardines.
Yeah, it is. There's actually quite a few car shows in the area. I think I saw them all listed in the local paper not too long ago, and most of them are on Saturday, and those are pretty big events. Sometimes too crowded, actually.
That's correct, because I remember one time I had to go to Hartford to the airport, and then of course they had a car show, so they had Main Street all blocked off, so you had to go around, and it was just wall to wall people. It was like,
Yeah.
And our band was playing, Clint. It was packed. It was great. Not because of our band. There's a lot of cool cars there, but it was a lot
okay.
of fun. Yeah.
But no, it's cool in that. But no, that's neat.
Well, in this fall, a person could do the threshery there here in Richfield. That's
What's it
always
called?
a pretty interesting thing to photograph. There's a lot of good activities going on, and it's crowded, but it's not that crowded because it's spread out in such a big acreage. And also, Old Falls Village has a ton of stuff coming up. Of course, this summer and fall. They've got Renaissance Fair. World War II is coming up on the 15th and 16th. They got a Roaring 20s weekend. World War I coming up. Renaissance Fair that they're going to be doing. Vietnam War.
So what's nice is you got some creative ideas. I know Linnea also had some really good ideas too, and suggestions too.
So there's a lot of things we can do. It's a matter of getting people to get out and do it as a group. I mean, we can meet somewhere and say, okay, we're going to do this weekend. We used to go down to Renaissance Fair, the big one down at the border. We could bring that back if, we can find a weekend that works.
Yeah, because that was before the pandemic. That's been more than what, 7 years?
Yeah, it's been quite a few years since we've gone down. Part of it is that I don't think Ken and I have been able to get down there. And we're usually the ones that have led it. You know, the big thing is we need somebody to lead these trips and get them organized, just like Brian does Shady Lane and the zoo. We need other people to step up and do it. Ken
We
and
need
I
a
have done
coordinator.
quite a bit, but we're sort of getting busy in other things, and it's hard for us to do all that stuff. So we really do need to get somebody else, a couple people to step up and say, yeah, let's go do this. And hopefully you get, 5 or 10 people to show up and go do it.
Yeah, we almost need an event coordinator or something like that. I know basically Brian's been a coordinator with our field trips. He's our go guy.
Well, that'd be
So-
something I'd be happy to help with.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be,
I'm
that'd be
not so
great.
good at leading photo walks because I get lost. I have to follow other people. But I can, if we all meet in one place or something, I think I can handle that.
Yeah.
Jeff, the other thing I was thinking about too is before July meeting with the July newsletter, what about like all the ideas, putting together almost a survey that people can have before we meet in July at the park, that people can put down, hey, I'm really interested in this, or I'm not interested in that. And then they can have time to think. And then before our August meeting, we can incorporate some of the ideas.
That's a great idea. We can have ideas. We can, when we're actually at the park, we can bounce some ideas off of people actually in person.
Well, I would almost think before then, Clint. What I would suggest is I could draft. This is something I've been thinking about, but I haven't done anything yet. Draft like a survey just to find out what people are interested in, and that would go out to people in the newsletter. Even have copies in July in case people didn't fill it out. Get their feedback in July or the couple weeks after that we can then discuss in August to take us forward for 24-25.
Okay. That sounds great. If you're willing to put that together.
Yeah, I definitely
Linnea.
will. And then I would send the draft to you guys right now, the board, and then you can add or whatever, and then we can get it out with Ellen's newsletter. And I won't be late this time, Ellen, I promise.
Something we did at our
Maybe.
something we did at our last picnic that worked out pretty well was we passed around the sign-up sheet for everyone to do show and tell. And we definitely could have space on there for any ideas that people might bring along to add in there for subject.
I was really proud of with all the people, everyone basically for the whole year, we had the whole year basically completely filled out at that party. So that was that worked out great.
I showed up late.
I'm gonna
That's
do that
why
again.
I showed up late.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up with today.
Nonetheless, that worked out really, 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 really well. I mean, it took care of the whole year. It was not every month going, so we need somebody to show and tell next week, that sort of thing.
I think it was the best turnout ever.
Well, the reason people signed up was you couldn't have ice cream unless you signed up.
Yeah,
well,
there you
that's
go.
true. Maybe that's true too. Yeah.
And if I remember
the
right, talking
gatekeeper.
about the Rotary Park that we will be meeting at, if I remember right, we have always met at 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. So we started a little earlier.
Which worked out well, I thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who's organizing? Who's in charge of organizing it this year?
I think Pat, I think he made the reservation for that, right?
Yeah, that's all said and done. So we have it for the whole day.
So, and if I remember right, did Ken actually show up to Pops for the ice cream? Were you the one that picked it up?
It
Brian and I
was
did that
Brian
together.
and Ken.
Brian and Ken, okay.
Yeah.
And then we can also, we plan on having another elephant sale, if I remember right. So bring in your camera equipment, your used equipment, whatever. And we can also try and sell that too.
Okay.
So you're asking Brian and Ken to do ice cream again?
If you want.
If we want, okay.
I mean, we're not going to force you in that, but
Well,
be
we know that you two are the ones that love ice cream so much, so.
Hey,
I'm
Pops is
teasing Clint. I don't know why he doesn't ask. You know,
Pops
go ahead
is
and
a
ask.
great place. Although I had a couple extra cups, so
I think Clint's idea is just that if you don't show up with ice cream, he's mentioning that's your fault. So I think that's what Clint just did.
Sounds about right.
that sneaky guy.
You
I'd rather
know,
see donuts.
another idea that we could do as a camera club is we could take events that happen around here anyway. For example, EAA, and try and organize a group of camera club people to meet there, whatever, to take pictures at that event. Or State Fair is happening this week. Can Camera Club get together and go as a group to that? Events like that might be interesting. Road America.
That's a great idea because
There are events that happen.
I do plan on being at Oshkosh, and I was thinking almost having kind of a workshop. So I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, we could have
And-
a day where everybody, or a couple of days where, you know, if you can't make this day, can you make that day? Maybe some of the club will make it one day and not the other. We
Yes.
could do that for State Fair, which is interesting too. They're all interesting places to take pictures. Road America for sure.
Road America's a lot of fun to do the racing. You can get up fairly close. Another event, I don't know if anybody's brought up, but I've been to that rodeo up in Belgium,
Yes.
and that's coming up June 24th. So if anybody wants to go to that, I've been there before.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to that.
My good friend Ryan's got some really awesome pictures on bull riding and stuff like that. Really a phenomenal time.
What are the hours of that?
I do not know.
For the rodeo,
Yeah, rodeo.
I think it's at 3 o'clock you can get in, but I think the rodeo starts around 5. You can check it out.
There's information in the newsletter. I know that because I remember, but I don't remember specifically the times.
Okay.
There's little kid stuff happening beforehand. I hate to
I'm
say
looking at the
James Bauer.
newsletter. It says June 22nd,
3
Saturday,
to 5 p.m.
from 3 to 5 p.m. Yeah.
16 in advance and 20 at the door. And then there's actually it looks like a direct link to it too. So thank you, Ellen, for putting that in.
James Bauer, I just have to tell you that monkey freaks me out just a squishy little bit, the one behind you, because I keep thinking he's gonna jump on your back.
Yeah,
and I want to
He
make
was
sure
pretty
that
cute.
you were aware.
Thanks.
Yeah, the gates open at 1 o'clock. It's June 22nd.
There's a band, there's events going on other than, but
Yeah,
I
Rebel
was-
Grace plays at 7:30.
yeah, and I think those tickets are, I have no idea. I didn't pay much attention.
$16
That-
in advance.
Huh?
$16 for advance and 20, I think it said, for at the door. Yeah, 20 at the door.
Okay, well, check the link at the website. It's an Everbright event, I think.
Yes, correct. And the link is actually in the newsletter too that Ellen provided.
Yeah, eventbrite.com.
Since we're just on the topic of events, I just threw in the chat just now. I had a photo that I mentioned, 2 photos actually, that I'd taken downtown with the inflatable and everything. They are doing something very similar, different types of inflatables. These like arches, it looks like they almost look like rainbows. July 23rd through the 27th. free to the public, over by the St. Kate Hotel, I forget what the Marcus Performing Arts Center. It's like right next to it. There's like a park right there downtown. So in case you're looking for some fun street photography type stuff, lots of cool characters out there, people hanging out, taking all sorts of fun photos, just enjoying being downtown. I'm sure I'll be there.
Well, thank you for adding that and providing that link in the chat. Well,
one thing I could bring up too is the Dairyland bike races start at June 13th, and they go for about 10 to 12 days. They're all different locations. Some of them are more distance, but there's usually Grafton, Cedarburg, Downer, downtown, Wauwatosa, and those are always fun to go to also. This is, if you look up Dairyland bike races, you'll find that you can get the schedule there. Well, that's coming up pretty soon.
yep, pretty darn soon. Yep. A lot of stuff is happening. We should almost do a presentation for you, Ken. You know what you do, how you prepare for your trips to Bonds Falls and stuff like that.
Well, Jeff and I have done some waterfall presentations before, so we still have a lot of our notes from that yet.
Okay, well, I guess that's almost a night, but I think we had some pretty great ideas that some people come up with. We can think on some of these ideas. I like Linnea's idea about sending out ideas what we would like to topics. I think that's a great starting point. And I do like the idea about maybe having a coordinator for doing workshops and stuff like that, or something like that. I mean, we have a coordinator, basically Brian, that does the field trips. But I think it's cool. Maybe somehow we can incorporate the field trips with the workshop. So any other comments or questions, people?
Well, I was thinking I have a couple of things that I could show that I know Ellen was talking about scanning a bunch of old slides and stuff or pictures and what she was going to do with them. And I know Jane's been asking about how I'm going to leave my legacy of my photography. And I thought I'd show just a brief thing on what I set up on my my website, that I have switched over from using Zenfolio to SmugMug, and I really like what I've set up on there. I did put quite a bit of work into it. So let me.
Yeah, we got plenty enough time, or we got some time.
So now you should be seeing my webpage with gallery, travel, events, and family history.
Yes.
Those are the categories that I've tried to put everything into. And this website has where you basically make folders and it turns them into various galleries. Like underneath gallery, I've got a section where I show and keep track of all of the stuff that I've had in competitions and has gotten some type of award. And then just the general show, some of the stuff that's on my profile. But I have here family history. And again, I tried to figure out categories to put all of the pictures that I took from the shoe boxes that I scanned in and copied off all of the stuff that was written on the back of the pictures. And so I've got all of those pictures in here, which I've done some work on. And what really works nice is that if you go in here and you go information, I can see all of the names of everybody that's in there and advance through and
Roger, I got a question for you. When
Yeah.
you're long and gone, how's this website is going to stay up?
well, it's not. I'm going to be losing the website, the pretty interface, but everything that's in here in a gallery is going to be in a folder. And so if I go back here, that like when I go here, there's a folder for Jeff and all of the pictures and everything. Well, I'm going to be taking a copy of that and putting it on a M disk, which is it's like a CD, but it's got 1,000-year rating for the longevity. And so all of these pictures will be there. They'll be cataloged, and you can upload them to just about any of the places that will display pictures, and they'll read all of the keywords and stuff and be able to search them and everything. So you'll be able to transport this to wherever you need to go. And
Roger, I thought this was kind of interesting. I think it was Drema from a Digital Forum. Jeff, if I remember right, she's got some pictures where it will be there for life. I forget, was that copyright? What was that?
Oh, well, yeah, if you register your images with the Copyright Office, then they're there forever.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. There's not
another
easy,
service too that you can use, that you display your pictures at, and they guarantee to retain them for 100 years for your family. Now, when I go in here and I get all of these different individual folders, that really isn't enough for me when I go to travel. So when I went to travel, I created my own web page with links to all of the places that I've gone to in the past years. I organize things by date, and so you can go to any one of these and see pictures from my Canada trip or whatever. But that's the one thing on this website. That's a manual web page that I update every time I add a new place that I've gone to. So like, here are my recent pictures in the last few weeks from when I went to Richfield. But that's the work that I've been doing over the last year, and that's how I'm planning on passing off my legacy. Is I've got that all organized, and I've actually got it saved, all of those pictures saved off on another hard drive that I bought some of these M disc CDs that are supposed to last 1,000 years, and I'll be saving a copy onto those.
Big trick is, Roger, will the reader for the M disc be around in 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Because that's been the problem with I mean, you can get CDs that last 300 years, 400 years, the gold ones. But the trouble is, will we even have CD readers and writers to look at them?
Well,
that's always the big trick.
You'll be able to find them.
Yeah. They may be in an antique store by then.
Say, fire up great grandpa, or grand Rogers, computer and that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's always hard to figure out, what to do with your photos. I've got something like 200,000 images sitting on my drives, and once I pass on, they're just going to go poof, because I do have a couple, 4,000 or 5,000 in the copyright office, but I don't know if anybody's ever going to see them or look at them. But
the problem is with something like that, it gets buried. I mean, a needle in a haystack would be easier to find the needle in the haystack. It's and it just gets people just keep dumping and dumping tons of pictures.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering as how many pictures, not just even a day or maybe even an hour, how many pictures people actually take pictures, with their smartphones and whatnot. How many pictures an hour, is it in the millions or is it even in the billions? Because there's always someone taking pictures or video.
Yeah. Well, video eats up a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's an interesting problem of, what do you do with the stuff? But and there's so many photos out there these days.
I realize the bulk of my pictures have absolutely no value to anybody else than me. So these are all the ones that have some significance to the places I've gone, the people I've been with, and everything else. So they'll be out there. It'll be a lot more than anybody will want to go through, but they'll be able to search it. They'll be able to find people. All the people have been identified using the Lightroom people finder or whatever it is.
Wow,
and
that's pretty good.
So,
yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
but it's nice to pass on to your kids and whatever.
Yeah. So you can go out there and you can do a search on someone's name and find where they are throughout all of the different galleries.
Wow.
Hey, Clint, to answer your question, one study says 5.3 billion photos per day, 1.93 trillion photos in 2024 will be taken.
No, thank you for looking that up. That was wow. Wow.
I mean, grain of salt, but the scientific study was done, and that's what they came back with.
No, that's cool in that. I mean, at least that gives us an idea. Might not be exactly right, on the head, but that's
average person takes 20 photos a day, which probably makes sense. I mean, I go out and shoot flowers, and I come home with 1,300 images. Well, that'll average out against a lot of people who don't take any pictures.
True. Yeah, because when I do sometimes some bands, sometimes it's 800 pictures. Well, when I go up to Oshkosh, in the thousands. Oh my God.
What we need to teach is people on how to edit your photos down to get rid of the ones, because you may take, and I do the same thing when I go to Road America. I take 2,000-3,000 images, but I've now learned to trash 95% of those images and get it down to a couple hundred that I end up keeping.
I agree. I try and do that. I try and do that with Oshkosh. It's like I'm not taking 10,000 pictures a day. This is ridiculous. Well, I the first year I went, well, I don't want to say the first year, but right after the pandemic, I used one card only. And it's like, you know what? This is going to be just a knockout picture. Because I tried to use it like as film. Like, hey, I only have X amount of space. So I didn't want to shoot anything and everything. I just wanted to like, oh, you know what? I want this picture. So then I took the picture, and it had to be unique and different, not like You see car, let's say buying a car, left, right, front, back, I wanted something to stand out. So I really challenged myself on that. So, and I was quite happy with what I got.
Yeah, we used to walk around with rolls of film. And I used to carry, what was it, six rolls of film in a little pack that I could put in my back pocket. Those 6 rolls of film at 36 shots each was not a whole lot of pictures. And if you were going hiking to a waterfall, taking less than 200 pictures at that waterfall, it's a little different than what you get today with the digital stuff.
Yeah, that we do.
There's
So,
definitely a group of people who've intentionally moved back to film for that reason. Just the slowing down and the focus that it takes, and lack of immediate gratification that you get out of a digital photo. I love my digital camera, so I'm not in that camp, but I can certainly understand why there is a almost artesian aspect to that type of photography.
one thing
Go
ahead, Jeff.
I like mine too.
Yeah, I like mine too. What I've been to football games and I took so many pictures. I was looking through like 95% through the viewfinder. It's like I wasn't ever there. It's like I've been getting better as I, take a picture, put the camera down, look around. There's a few pictures like at Oshkosh, right after the pandemic. I know the F-16 came around the corner. It's just a little too fast, broke the sound barrier. Something told me to not take picture. I'm glad I didn't take a picture of it. I'm glad I witnessed it. And that it's like, the picture, it's like, well, I wouldn't have the same reaction, the same experience, but actually being there and witnessing that, now with the eclipse, I did both. I took pictures and I also experienced it.
I'm very cognizant of that when I shoot my daughter's sports, for example, or any of her events.
Oh, great.
I take pictures, but I also don't take pictures, like I don't need to capture every single moment of the game. I get the photos, and once I feel like I got my photos, I'm done with the camera. I'm just back to coaching or just watching, enjoying the game. So
I think that's great because you got a well balance and I think it is.
You're right, because you feel like you're not there. Otherwise, you're like, I missed it. I was staring at my camera.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times or
All right, I got to run, guys.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think we need to end this, Clint.
Yeah.
It's after
9:08.
9 and people are dropping off real quick. So let's
I just want to make one comment on Smug Mug. They do not delete your photos if you do not renew your plan.
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah.
You can't upload, but you can still see what you put in there previously. That lives on.
Cool. All right. Okay, everyone. I want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out. See you the second Tuesday, not the first Tuesday of July, but the second Tuesday, which is Tuesday the 9th, and that will be at 6 p.m. So thank you, everyone, for coming. And our next one will be actually in person. This is our last Zoom meeting. I can't believe it. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks.
See you, Clint.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Bye, everyone.